My emotionally unstable wife forced me to open our marriage, but when I found my own partner, she started demanding we close it and begged me to take her back. I remember my wife asked me to open our marriage, and though I tried to say no, she gave me an ultimatum. Either I agree to this, or we're divorcing. I gave in, and very soon, she started going on dates, and even got in a relationship with her manager. I remember catching them in our bed. I exploded at her, telling her she broke the one rule we had. She called me gullible in front of him, then told me, rules are meant to be broken, before getting dressed and leaving with him. That night I decided to start seeing other people too, and that's when I met Charlotte. I fell hard and started dating her, and seeing this flipped a switch in my wife. She started cooking for me again, initiating in bed, being the perfect wife. A year ago this would have meant the world to me, but now I truly didn't care. My spark for her was dead. All I wanted was Charlotte. That's why when she came begging to close the marriage, I refused. She broke down crying, and went to bed in tears that day. I knew I needed to talk to her, so the next day after we both had finished work, I sat her down. I wanted to talk to her, and I told her to be honest with me, and tell me what inspired all this. She had told me it was her work friend group previously, and she remained consistent in that answer. However, she added some details that I didn't know. So not only did her work friend group plant the idea of the open marriage because my wife missed out due to us being together since middle school, but they also encouraged my wife to start an emotional affair with the new hot manager who showed up at her workplace, the one I caught her in bed with. Apparently they encouraged my wife to live free. Apparently my wife took a liking to the manager due to his encouragement, and it all developed into an emotional affair, but it only got physical once the marriage opened. She described it as being intoxicated behind the wheel of a speeding car. It was thrilling and intoxicating, but the price of this decision has become too much for her to bear. She sees now that she never needed a comparison, that what we had was truly unique and special, but now she feels like she destroyed our marriage and any chance of a life together. I told her I might not ever be able to see her as my wife again, and this made her break down in front of me. I simply held her in silence as she cried, until she fell asleep in my arms on the couch. She has since left her job and cut off contact with all her friends and her manager, and even told me she's willing to spend the rest of her life making it up to me and working her fingers to the bone to be seen as a wife by me. But I haven't cut contact with my lover. Charlotte quite frankly makes me feel like a man, like I can challenge the world, and my wife hasn't in a while. We have our first marriage counseling session in a couple of hours, not sure how that will go. Update 1. My wife and I went to marriage counseling to deal with potentially closing the relationship back up. Even though it was our very first session, my wife took it as an opportunity to lay it all out, it seems. She confessed that this group of friends made her wonder if she had missed her chance because she was committed to her first boyfriend and had no other experiences, that she never had the same adventures some of these supposedly amazing women had. The therapist pointed out that this can be, and often is, detrimental to a marriage due to the difference in mindset. My wife seemed to agree, then added that after the new manager started approaching her, some of these friends encouraged her to see where it goes, that this was a chance for her to explore or discover herself. She states she felt guilty, so she never did anything physical until one of the divorced beluga-sized friends in the group suggested an open marriage as a loophole. She told her that some couples come out stronger because of it, so after regrettably convincing me to open up the marriage, her so-called adventure began. It was intoxicating and blinding but lacked real substance, not like the kind we built over the years, and she started to question her reasons for doing this. She said she could see the hurt in my eyes, but told herself this was an adventure. She had a chance to have an amazing experience, so the gravity of it all never happened, until she noticed a change in me. At first, she assumed that because I went on dates, I would gradually accept her situation and be okay with it, but that all changed when my lover became a constant appearance in my adventure. Apparently I started to smile again for no reason, and my eyes would light up when I would get a text message, or when I cheerfully left the room to answer a call. She said she suddenly felt a pit in her stomach and started to get mini panic attacks for no reason. She went to her friends for advice again, but they said it was a normal reaction for me to have during the adventure. When the same divorced beluga who suggested this in the first place said, "It looks like his lover makes him happy," is when the reality of it all finally dawned on her, and the very real possibility that another woman and not his wife gave him joy almost made her pass out. She realized how ridiculous this all was, and begged them to help her win me back, but they just told her if she couldn't deal with it, why did she open her marriage in the first place? She knew then and there that these people were toxic, a threat to our marriage, and the life we built. Hence, she's been on a mission to win me back by any means necessary. I, on the other hand, didn't share much, but I did let the counselor know about the situation on my side with my lover still being in the picture. To this, my counselor said no resolution could ever be reached with my lover still in the picture, and suggested we book another appointment after tomorrow. The counselor did say it was unusual for someone to stay with their first this long, and gave the impression that any storm can be weathered. Our next session is tomorrow. Update 2. I have since moved into my brother's apartment. During our second session of counseling, I asked my wife some hard questions. 1. If she was sure nothing physical happened before the opening of the marriage. She looked towards the ground and begged me not to make her say it. She said, if she said it, then it would destroy us, but after some pushing, she shared it. She had got on her knees in his office and gave him neck. I was absolutely floored by this, and she she started shaking and hyperventilating. Snot even began flowing from her nostrils as she cried and apologized to me.